Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about how to pass your GCSE Maths during the coronavirus pandemic. What I'm going to give you in less than 10 minutes are 5 ways to make sure you pass GCSE Maths when exam time comes round. Before we get started, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way when I put out videos on topics related with GCSE Maths, you will get notified. So it's been a bit of a confusing time for everyone. Schools have been open, then shut, and now, well, they might be opening again soon, partially or not at all depending on where you live. Like I said, confusing. This brings me to my first point, which will help you pass your GCSE Maths. When I find myself in kind of a worrying or uncertain situation, I try and remind myself to focus on what you can control. Now, if that sounds like a bit of smug advice, let's break it down and see what it really means. So to see what it really means, you've got to think about what it is you actually can and can't control. So you can't control how long this coronavirus pandemic is going to last. You can't control whether your school is going to open or not. And you have limited control on whether you get the virus or not. It's definitely normal to have feelings and worries about these things. One of the ways you can deal with them is by talking with family, friends, and a counsellor. But another way is to take action. So by deciding to take action, you automatically have to focus on what you can control. Because there's nothing we can do about schools opening, so we need to focus on the things we can take action. And preparing for an exam is something we can take action on by ourselves. Which leads me to my next way. Take the first step. It can be overwhelming thinking about studying for an exam, because there are so many things you could be doing, so many materials you could be studying. My advice would be to start with the simplest or easiest thing for you. Examples of things you can start with are reviewing notes, watching YouTube videos, reading a few pages in a book, practice tests, BBC Bite Size. So get a book, definitely, or better still, several books. When I'm learning a new topic, I like to maybe watch several YouTube videos, read physical books, take a test. The things that I would like you to take away from this point are, when you're starting, it doesn't really matter the size of the action that you take. Taken by itself, watching a YouTube video is not going to make you pass your GCSE Maths exam. But the important thing is that you made a start. And this is something you can do on a daily basis. Just make a start. And the strange thing that you'll find is once you have started, you will find that you continue and you do more. And the second thing I want you to take away from this point is that study maths in a variety of ways. Don't just have one way, reviewing your notes or just doing one book. Have several books. Watch videos from different sources, and that will help you get a good, broad knowledge of the subject. The next way to ensure you pass your GCSE Maths exam is to make a plan. By plan, I mean just a list. You can base this list on the exam specification, which is on your exam board's website. I will link to some examples of the specification in the description. The specification basically lists all the subjects that will be covered in the exam. The specification is quite detailed, so I would create a list based on this of subject topics. Start with the next 4 weeks. Assign one or more subject topics to each week. Then keep this plan somewhere safe and refer to it on a weekly basis. At the end of the 4 weeks, review, see how many subject topics you've covered, and then plan for the next 4 weeks. The objective is to cover all the subjects in the exam specification by exam time. This is a basic plan and a starting point, but you may want to go more detailed, perhaps doing this on a weekly basis, so planning your next week. Again, just look at the days, look at the subjects you want to cover, and set like realistic goals for covering each subject each day. My next way of ensuring you pass your exam is to practice. What should you be practicing though? In the classroom, you may understand a topic, but when it comes to doing problems, you may find it difficult or even impossible. It's a bit like driving a car. You can read about how to steer, but you go out without any lessons, and well, let's say the results won't be so good. So things that you could practice include answering questions from a book, answering exam questions, trying to improve your timing, as in trying to finish his questions within a specific time, calculator use, graphs, and so on. Research shows that you must make practice challenging to get the full benefit. In the context of maths problems, this would be doing problems that you find slightly difficult. Attempt the level 5 or level 9 problems as well, depending on what exam you're going for. My next way is to make your maths practice a habit. A habit is something we do on a regular basis without thinking, like brushing your teeth every day before you go to bed. It just feels natural. You don't have to force yourself to do it. In fact, it feels unnatural if you don't do it. Imagine feeling that way about maths. It takes a while to develop a habit. Some say it takes a couple of months, others maybe closer to a year. When it comes to maths, what type of habit could you develop? Well, for example, you could say, I'm going to do 30 minutes before dinner every weekday. That comes to 125 hours extra in a year. Imagine how much better at maths you would be if you spent that time. A good tip when trying to develop a habit is to start really small and then build up. So if you want to do 30 minutes of maths every day before dinner, and that's the habit you want to develop, then don't start with 30 minutes. Maybe just start with 5 minutes or even 2 minutes, and just get into the habit of doing it every day, even if it's just 2 minutes, opening up a book, looking at an example, and take it from there. This brings us to the end of this video on 5 ways to pass GCSE Maths during the coronavirus pandemic. Firstly, focus on what you can control. Secondly, make a start. Third, make a plan. 4, practice, practice, practice. And finally, try and make maths a daily habit. Thanks for watching, and please like or share this video if you found it useful, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and bye for now.